ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਰਿਸ਼ ਕੋਇਆ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਆਲ ਸਟਾਰ ਰੈਸਲਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਹੈਵੀਵੇਟ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਵਾਰਡਸ ਜਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਇੰਡੋ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਆਲ ਸਟਾਰ ਰੈਸਲਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਹੈਵੀਵੇਟ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨ ਬਣੇ ਨੇ। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਰਾਈਵ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਐਂਬੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰਿਸ਼ ਕੋਇਆ ਦਾ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
First of all, congratulations for winning this title.
Oh, thank you so much, Harpreet. It's been a dream for a long time, and I finally get to live it. 20 years later, here we go.
Wow! And you're the first Indo-Canadian to have achieved this success.
I am. It's
wonderful.
Such a privilege.
Tell us a little bit about All Star Wrestling. Like, what is this? Who organizes this? And now you have got this title. So basically, when we say you're a heavyweight champion, what does this mean?
So first of all, your first question, All-Star Wrestling. All-Star Wrestling has been in BC for a very long time. A lot of history. So anybody who's a wrestling fan in BC especially, they know All-Star Wrestling. Yeah, Gene Kiniski, Andre the Giant came here before. A lot of the top wrestlers actually used to be in All-Star Wrestling. So now it's Gorgeous Michelle Starr and a gentleman by the name of Disco Fury. They're the main guys that actually run All-Star Wrestling. And what I love about All-Star Wrestling, Harpreet, it's actually a family show. So it's very kid-friendly, all right? So I mean, like, sometimes you go to some of these wrestling shows or, it's like the language and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about any of that with All-Star.
Right.
Family-friendly show, a lot of action, good time. So we're actually out in Cloverdale, BC at the fairgrounds. That's where we wrestle. And we have shows every 2 weeks. So it's good times.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
How did you get inspired to come into wrestling?
Oh, geez, a whole lot of crazy in my head. No, basically what it was is I'm originally from Fiji. And then we moved from Fiji to Edmonton when I was just a baby.
Right.
And then in Edmonton, like, my father, of course, like, you come to Canada, you got to work hard. And I never really saw my dad too much, you know what I mean? So I was always like with my mom. But wrestling was the one thing that we always did together. Every weekend, he would make the time and he would take me to something called Stampede Wrestling out in Edmonton. And I used to watch that in Harpreet. I just absolutely fell in love with it. I was just a little boy, and like, you've had all like these bad guys beating up with the good guy. Like, there's 4 or 5 bad guys beating up on the good guy. And then there's me, like, just like, maybe like not even 2 years old. I'm trying to take off my belt. Let me in there. I want in. Chordo hame manta jao. I'm like, I want to be in that ring, you know what I mean? And trying to save them. And that's when they kind of knew, like, uh-oh, we might have a bit of a problem with this one.
Right.
So that's when I really fell in love with wrestling.
Wow, that's great. So since childhood, you had a dream that you wanted to be a professional wrestler, and that's what motivated you to come forward.
Absolutely.
Now, when we say, like, you come from Fiji, Indo-Canadians. There's a lot of strength in this sport. A lot of our people love this sport.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about, is it the same conventional form of wrestling, or is this something different in this?
Well, like I said, I mean, like, our style of wrestling is what you see on TV. It's like WWE, WWF, what it was known as before, the Hulk Hogan style of wrestling, right? But I mean, like I said, like, ours, it's a lot of action in our shows. And like, wrestling is really on the upslide, on the uptrend right now. Like, even in the WWE, you take a look right now, Royal Rumble just finished. We got WrestleMania coming up. So this is the season, like WrestleMania for wrestling. That's like the Super Bowl of wrestling, and that's coming up, right? So I mean, like, for us with All-Star Wrestling, it's really cool because it's local wrestling. Right? So it's like, it's live theater, and it's right there in front of you.
Absolutely.
And if you take a look at how much you're spending, like $15, $20 for a ticket, for a general admission ticket, that's actually a very, very cheap value night out.
Absolutely, very reasonable. And then the kind of action what you see is hardly to be seen anywhere else.
You're not gonna, you won't see that anywhere. That's absolutely. That's just it, right?
So bringing this aspect of action in wrestling, tell us a little bit about that how do you get trained? Because of course, it's a continuous development. It's not that once you have achieved something, it's finished. It's a continuing process. This is the foundation, and further on you go. So every day, what's your schedule? Do you train every day? And is there a coach who trains you, and how do you train?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when I first started, that was actually way back in 1997. I was just like a little punk kid. I went to my first wrestling show, was called ECCW, and that was actually run by my trainer, Gorgeous Michelle Starr. And I was out in the West at the Eagles Hall. So I saw this show, and I'm like, wow, this is just absolutely amazing. It's just like everything came back, and I'm like this little skinny kid, right? And I just walk up to the referee afterwards, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this, right? What do I got to do to become a part of this? So he kind of got back to me, and then once Gorgeous Michelle Starr, he was in California at the time, he came back. So he actually started up a wrestling school, and I trained with him, and I had my first match after not even like 5 weeks of training. So that was in March of 1997 was my first match.
Right.
And ever since then, it's just been like, you know, wrestling. But then as far as like on a daily schedule, essentially I train every day.
Right.
Right. So I'm lucky because I have my own fitness studio. It's called Koya Fitness out in Westminster. So I'm a strength and conditioning coach, I'm a health and fitness coach, and I specialize in rapid body transformation.
Okay.
So for me, it's kind of cool because at my studio, I do a lot of my own training.
Right.
Right. So I train with something called kettlebells.
Okay.
And when you're training with kettlebells, that really concentrates on functional fitness.
Okay.
And for wrestling, that's what you need is real functional fitness because it's not like going to the gym and just like, you know, doing some bench presses and hey, look at my bicep, it's nice. I have to pick people up. I got to throw them down. I got to defend myself.
Right.
I'm getting beaten up too. I'm being thrown around. I'm being picked up. I'm being slammed down.
Right.
So you got to have some really good core conditioning. You got to be in amazing shape because if you're not, you're going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt your opponent.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to do that. You got to be safe in there. You know, it is sports entertainment.
Right.
You want to put on one heck of a show, but you don't want really anybody to get injured, of course.
Right. And as you get your training yourself, are you also training some other people also to come into this field? Are you a trainer for someone else also?
I am actually. So basically with Koya Fitness, what we do is like we do group fitness classes there.
Okay.
And because it is functional training, I have people actually do that for 3 months first, and then they can actually join my other program. It's called Wrestle Fit.
Right.
Right. So this is more so like, you know, for wrestlers who are already training, but they just want to make sure like I'm looking good in the ring, I'm feeling good in the ring, I'm performing properly. Right. So I do performance wrestling training, and that's called Wrestle Fit. I do that out of Surrey. We do that on Saturday mornings. Do it a couple times a week.
Okay.
But I mean, it's good because you don't want to just be in the ring and be kind of subpar. If you're going to be in there, you want to be really, really good.
Absolutely.
All right. You should be like, you know, when you're jumping, you should be a couple inches higher than everybody else. When you're running, be a little bit faster than everybody else. And, you know, just always be like that one step ahead.
Right.
So that's what I specialize in Wrestle Fit. We just
Okay.
try to make you better at what you are and just like, you know, be the best that you can actually be.
Right. Tell us a little bit about this sport now. Is it gaining momentum? Are the youngsters coming forward and wanting to become wrestlers like you? And also, are girls also a part of this, or they're not?
No, absolutely. So, I mean, first of all, like, you know, we've actually got, like, with All-Star Wrestling, we have a separate branch called Girls Gone Wrestling.
Okay.
And in fact, we have a show coming up. So our next show for All-Star Wrestling is February 11th.
Okay.
And I'll be defending this championship versus Azim the Dream.
Okay.
So this belt isn't going anywhere, Harpreet.
Great.
Azim can come and try to take it. It's not going on his waist. It's going to stay on my sleek and sexy
Okay,
waist.
wonderful.
All right, so that's on February 11th.
Okay.
The next show is actually February 25th, and that's called Girls Gone Wrestling.
Okay.
And oh my, if you haven't been to one of these shows, these girls are absolutely amazing. Like
Right.
athletes galore, right? So some of my favorite wrestling to watch. And we got Nicole Matthews, we've got Bambi Hall, we've got Malia Hoska. So I mean, if you go to allstarwrestling.ca, you'll get to see our whole list. Also facebook.com, All-Star Wrestling, check it out.
Right.
But I mean, like over there, you'll see like our entire roster, men, women, but our women are absolutely amazing. Like
So
honestly, some of the best in North America.
all the information can be got from allstarwrestling.ca, and you can buy the tickets and you can come over to and
Yeah,
watch you
absolutely.
also.
Yeah,
Great.
allstarwrestling.ca. You can actually all the information's there. You can
Okay.
buy tickets there, and of course, if you're in New West or if you're in Surrey, you can always come by Koya Fitness too in New West. We sell tickets there too if you prefer
Right.
to buy them live, right?
Let's
Say
go for
hi
a
to
short
me at the
break.
same time.
Absolutely. Let's go for a short break, and we'll come back and learn a little bit more from you as to what are your future plans, how you plan to take this passion further on also. Let's go for the short break and we'll be shortly back.
good, thank
So ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਈ ਇਹ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਇੰਡੋ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਆਲ ਸਟਾਰ ਰੈਸਲਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਹੈਵੀ weight ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਘੋਸ਼ਿਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਰੋਜ਼ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਆਪ ਵੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਓਰੀਜਨਲੀ ਇਹ ਫੀਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਚਪਨ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੈਸ਼ਨ ਸੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਐਡਮਿੰਟਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਿਤ ਹੋਏ ਤੇ 1997 ਔਨਵਰਡ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਵੱਲ ਪਾਸੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਜਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਰੈਸਲਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਆਕਰਸ਼ਿਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਦਾ ਆਯੋਜਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਕੀ ਹਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਪਲਾਨਸ, ਔਰ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਇਸ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ। ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਬਿਲਡਿੰਗ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਲਈ ਕੈਨੈਕਸ ਬਿਲਡਿੰਗ ਸਪਲਾਈਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੋ। ਔਨ ਟਾਈਮ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ, ਕੰਪੀਟੀਟਿਵ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰੀ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਲਈ ਇਹ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹਨ। ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਲੰਬਰ, ਸਟੱਡਸ, ਹਾਰਡਵੇਅਰ, ਡੈਕਸ, ਰੇਲਿੰਗਸ, ਡੋਰਸ, ਵਿੰਡੋਜ਼, ਮੇਸਨਰੀ ਆਦਿ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹੈ। ਬਰੂਸ ਕੀਲਰ ਜੋ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਅਜ਼ਮਾ ਕੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਵੇਖੋ। 604 858 1840 kenexbuilding.com। ਰਿਸ਼ ਕੋਇਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਆਲ ਸਟਾਰ ਰੈਸਲਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਹੈਵੀਵੇਟ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਇੰਡੋ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਟਾਈਟਲ ਜਿੱਤਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ। ਇਹ ਲੋਕਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਇਹ ਕਰਨ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਲਾਨਸ ਨੇ, ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So before the break, thank you for telling us about all the kind of things, what you do, what you all have to do for this.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to be in shape to be winning this title. It's not an easy thing because people who are well adept in wrestling come and participate in these functions.
Absolutely.
So like we were talking, it's at a provincial and a local level, these kind of programs are held. So what is the future now? Like for example, this title, what you have won. Now what is in store for you further on? Can you participate in WWE programs, or what all can you do now?
Well, absolutely, and that's a great thing. I mean, like, you know, because being on the local independent circuit, really in the future, anything can happen.
Right.
So, I mean, like, you know, my future right now, my immediate future is I got to be defending this championship,
Right.
the All-Star Wrestling Heavyweight Championship at the All-Star Wrestling shows in Cloverdale.
Right.
And that's pretty much like once every 2 weeks. So I always got to be around here locally. But we also go on the road. So, I mean, like, I know I'm going up to Squamish. We wrestle all over BC. But also in addition to that, to answer your question, I mean, my goal this year, because I'm the champion, I want to represent this. I want to make sure that people not just in BC know about All-Star Wrestling, but people all over the world.
Right.
Because the talent that we have in our locker room, Harpreet, absolutely amazing. The guys and girls back there, they work so hard.
Okay.
And it's not right that we only have like a couple of hundred sets of eyes on them. I want thousands and thousands and thousands of eyes on these folks because that's how good they are.
Right.
So to do that, you know what? My goal this year, I want to be going out to Australia, New Zealand, right? I've got family out there too. They want to watch me wrestle. So I'm like, hey, it's a good way to kind of go down, hang out with them, and wrestle in front of a few thousand people there.
Right.
The other big goal I have, and I've always wanted to do this, is I want to go down to India.
Wow.
I want to wrestle with the great Khali. He's got a promotion out there called CWE.
Okay.
And like one of my friends, he just went out there, he trained out there, he coached with him. And I saw amazing pictures, amazing video, because they're getting thousands and thousands of people, like just on a Tuesday night out in India. And for me to actually go out there and wrestle in front of my people there, that would just be an absolutely dream come
Well,
true.
people are crazy, I must tell you. When I was in India, I remember I was a youngster and I drove all the way about 200 kilometers to see WWF. It used to be WWF at that time.
Yeah.
So in Jalandhar, there was a program which was held and the crowd was crazy and thousands of people had come to see. So people have a lot of love and affection for people like you. They want to see you in action. That's great.
That's what I want.
Wonderful.
I love that crazy.
That's
the
wonderful.
crazier the better.
Right. So coming back to my previous question, when I asked you about the youngsters, they are getting motivated to come and participate in these kind of events.
Yes.
How dangerous is it? Basically, like when you train, when you are in action, anything can happen. Absolutely. So how do you make sure that that entertainment aspect is the one which is focused upon? Because when you are emotionally, you are so strong that at that time your focus is to win only.
Absolutely.
So how do you make sure that this doesn't go into the other aspect also?
Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, like one thing that I'm really not into is like you see a lot of these kids out there, they're doing something called backyard wrestling.
Right.
And I'm just so against that because you know what, for me, like, whether I'm teaching a kettlebell Koya bell class, whether I'm teaching a WrestleFit class, whether I'm actually wrestling in the ring against an opponent, whatever it is, for me, it's always safety, safety, safety.
Right.
It's always safety first. So, I mean, I was trained by a very reputable trainer, gorgeous Michelle Starr.
Right.
I went to a reputable wrestling school with All-Star Wrestling. Right? So you really have to look at who you're training with. So for all you kids out there and you're looking to get into wrestling, you need to make sure that it's a very reputable school. So with All-Star, we actually have an All-Star Wrestling Training School. We've got great trainers, the great Kasaki, Mad Ecstatic, Cobra Kai. These guys are fantastic. I do like an advanced style wrestling class called WrestleFit. The key thing is, once again, you have to make sure you're training the school that you're going to is a reputable school. Stay away from this backyard stuff. This is where people get hurt. Right? Because if you don't have somebody that has that experience to teach you properly, to fall properly, because the thing that you see, like broken necks happen.
Oh, yeah.
People getting paralyzed. You don't want this, all right? We're here to put on a show. We're here to take you away from regular everyday life for 2 to 3 hours. Come hang out with us, and then go back. You know what I mean?
And Rick, finally, one important thing what I want, because you're an icon now for the youngsters who believe in you.
Yes.
In sports also, we are finding to win, people are doing anything to reach that stage.
That's right.
But always we have heard sports give you sportsman spirit. They discipline you. But those theoretical things are now going to the backside, and winning is the major factor.
Right.
Drugs and other things which are coming forward.
Yes.
What would be your message to your youngsters today?
You know what? I mean, that's my whole thing. Like, my mandate as champion is number one, to increase awareness for wrestling, all-star wrestling, that we do have local wrestling right here in BC, right here in the mainland, right here in Cloverdale. But also my other mandate is this: I want to get people healthy, Harpreet.
Right.
All right, there's so much misinformation out there. And like you said, like, you know, people forget about just the steroids and the drugs and all that. I mean, we've got all these supplements, and like, you know, you got all these bodybuilding magazines that say, take this fat burner, take this protein, take this. You know what? At the end of the day, none of that stuff is natural.
Right.
All right. So what I like to teach and preach is a natural, organic, non-GMO lifestyle.
Right.
All right. Back in the day, we didn't have all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? We're just eating whatever foods like coming from the earth, right? We're drinking the water that's coming from the well or whatever it is, but that's real water.
Right.
In Fiji, we got 9.5 pH water automatically coming, right? So my whole thing is this: what I like to tell the kids and anybody who's, you know, wanting to get into, like, whether it's wrestling or any type of sport, and this is why I do Koya Bell Fitness, Harpreet. Like, this is like, you know, what I'm really trying to get across. You know what? Just go natural. And don't think that you just have to go to the gym and just do all this cosmetic. I call it cosmetic bodybuilding, right? Because that's not real strength.
Right.
You want to train in such a way where later on in life, you know, when you are getting up in age, you know what? When you fall down, you're not going to break your hip.
Right.
All right? Even when you're 70, even when you're 80, you can still function properly.
Right.
Just because society says, like, hey, you know what, you're 60, 65, you need to be retired, and that's it, your life is over, there's the old folks home, have a good time, we'll see you, you know, when you're sleeping at 7 p.m. You know what I mean?
Right.
No. I truly believe that if you do it right, you can go past 100, and when we do go, you should just go like that.
Wonderful.
Nice and happy.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, and best wishes for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Harpreet.
Thank you. ਸੋ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਲ ਸਟਾਰ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਸਟ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਲਈ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ, ਡਰੱਗ ਸਟੀਰੋਇਡਸ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਰਹੋ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹੀ ਅਡਾਪਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ। ਇਹ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਗੇ, WWE ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਪਾਰਟਿਸਿਪੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹਾ ਸੱਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਨੂੰ ਆਓ ਹੋਰ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਕਰੀਏ। ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਐਂਟਰਟੇਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਸਟਿਲ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵਰਚੂਜ਼ ਵੀ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਚੰਗੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬਣ ਸਕਣ।